Hello, 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 everyone out there around the world. I would love to go ahead and hand off to our amazing host, Ed Lantz, who will be taking this conversation and flying it through the cosmos and the space. Ed, take it away.
Thanks, Ryan. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone, whatever the case may be. I'm Ed Lantz, board chair of DomeFest West, and we're here with our speaker, Shannon Schmoll from the International Planetarium Society. Before we bring Shannon up, I'd like to say a couple words about IPS. IPS was founded in, I think, 1970. It has a number of regional and national affiliate planetarium associations around the world. And the Fulldome format, those of you who didn't come from or aren't coming from the planetarium community, Fulldome video was actually incubated and emerged from the planetarium market. It was first use of multi-projector edge blending onto domes outside of military simulators. And there are now, I believe, over 2,000 digital domes in the world. So the International Planetarium Society continues to have a leading role in the development of planetariums, including optomechanical systems, portable planetariums, large planetariums, and so on. So without further ado, let's bring up Shannon Schmoll, Dr. Shannon Schmoll. She is president of the International Planetarium Society. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Ed.
Hey, welcome. I thought we'd start out. We have a great conference coming up in Japan, right? When is that? It's coming right up.
It's right. Probably can't read the poster. So the conference starts June 21st and it is in Fukuoka, Japan, which is in the southern part of Japan.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we'd like to hear what's new at the conference and everything, but I thought first, maybe you could tell us a little about yourself and how you came to be a planetarian, and how you came to be a leader of IPS.
So my journey, I'm going to go back to childhood, because I mean, the what do you want to be when you grow up thing. And I feel like a lot of people in this field have I looked through a telescope when I was 3 and I was hooked and like I knew what I was going to do, right? But that wasn't me. I wanted to be a teacher, and that was something I really wanted to do for a long time. And then along the way, I think I had the dinosaur phase and was going to be a paleontologist. And then I wanted to study like cancer and how to fight cancer. And then I got really into the X-Files and like, I'm going to be a pathologist FBI agent like Scully. Like the Scully effect is real, and I am proof of that. And then I took a physics class in high school because I had to fill in something in my 4th period, and that was the only thing I could do. And I fell in love with it. I was like, oh, I'm understanding how the world works, and I'm explaining it, and like it's logical, and I really appreciated it. And I read more popular science books. I got into astronomy. So by the time I went to college, I was like, I'm doing astronomy. And so I majored in physics and astronomy. And while in college, I got to learn how to use our optomechanical planetarium at the University of Washington. It's a small one that's in their astronomy building. And I got to teach with that and do shows, and it was my first taste. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Then I went to grad school with the intention of being a research astronomer. And I had a choice between 2 different schools. And I chose the one I chose. I chose University of Michigan for many reasons. It had people I wanted to work with. It had family nearby. It had friends there. So I was going to have a good support base moving away from family so far away. And the department just seemed very nice and welcoming. And they also had a really good planetarium. and they had 2 good planetariums on that campus, and it was a part of that decision making. And I got to teach in it pretty early on. I taught a class entirely in that planetarium multiple times when I was at U of M. And I started realizing a couple of years in that I didn't really enjoy the research as much as I liked talking about it and teaching about it and using this amazing tool to teach about it. And so luckily I was able to switch gears in grad school and do a joint PhD program that allowed me to also study education. And so I was able to, my dissertation work was on integrating planetarium field trips into curricula. And so I caught that bug and I ran with it. And I've been very fortunate and lucky to be able to make this my career. And
Awesome.
so that's the story. And I ended up, I guess, being a teacher in a way in the end anyway. So
Very cool. Yeah, I left aerospace engineering to work in a planetarium in 1990, and it was very interesting back then. I think traditional planetariums were, an astronomical simulator, a star projector, and an arrow pointer, and an educator, a storyteller, really. And they've really come a long ways now. Of course, we started automating everything, make all sky slides and like that. And then, somebody looked up in the sky and said, could we map pixels to this dome, And then we started doing that in the mid-90s. And, I know one of the criticisms of planetarium education was that, if you automate everything or you make a movie now, of course, with, you just push a button and run a show, you lose that live connection with your audience. And so I'm curious, where were you doing the storytelling or the educating like that, or were you just running shows?
So I, most of my time has been in optomechanical. Well, maybe like not now at this point, but all of my early planetariums that I was in were mostly optomechanical. And so it was me doing the shows live, interacting and engaging people. But I also got my first taste of a digital dome when I was in grad school, and I also helped run shows. But those also always had a live component along with it. And that's something that we also continue at the planetarium now, is like we do have the full dome shows, and I think that there's a lot of value in those. There's certain visualizations and animations that certain production houses are really good at that and getting that to work really nicely on the dome. And there's certain ways that they explain it in content areas. Like I can explain a lot of things. Like I do have degrees in astronomy, but I'm not an expert in every single content area, even in astronomy. And so there is value in being able to have these shows that are able to explain different things in different ways. Or astronomy is also very closely tied to the cultural aspects for people all over the world. And so that's not going to be something that I should be telling. That's not a story that I should be trying to tell for everybody in my dome, but having a show that is recorded and was created by people from that culture is a way to be able to give space for that as well. And we also pair everything we do with a live component as well in order to make sure that we are able to take advantage of the pros of both of those. So I think there's room for all of it, and it's important to have all of it.
I love that. I think, IPS community is really synthesizing, bringing those two together, how to use the pre-programmed material and then mixing it in with the community connection component, which is so important. You got a bunch of kids or families or whatever the case may be physically there in the theater. And it's like if everything's completely automated, of course, next it'll be AI, right? Anyway, we're going off on a tangent. I'd love to hear about the conference coming up in Japan. What sort of topics are you guys exploring? Any new technology? Fill us in.
So yeah, the full schedule is available. and it's starting to come out. So I was going through like all of the topics yesterday, and I think that there's a lot that we're going to be seeing, and I think it is something that's going to capture sort of all the different ways that we think and use domes and planetariums and astronomy and all of we're capturing a lot of those different things. I think no matter how you think about planetariums and engage with them, you'll have opportunities to talk to other people and learn from them. But we're going to see a lot of presentations on the cultural side of astronomy, particularly from within Japan. And so we're going to be able to get to learn about Japanese astronomy in Japan, which I think is really lovely. We're going to see some explorations of technologies that are going on. I know that our sound immersion committee has a demo that they'll be doing for a test kit that they've been developing, so that we'll see some explorations of technology, some conversations on AI. It's sort of unavoidable right now, but it's also research, and it's research not only on like how do we educate in the dome and what are the best ways to engage our audiences, but research on domes itself and just sort of like how we can use them. There's special sessions on anime in domes because we're in Japan. Of course, we're going to be doing that. I was trying to write down all the things, and it's so many. Where did I don't even know where I wrote it all down.
Yeah,
but
well, I'm curious about one thing. The cultural. There's a lot of domes in Japan, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how does the culture in Japan differ, do you think, from the U.S. in terms of planetariums, how they operate, how they're used, like that?
Yeah, I think the sheer number of planetariums for the size of the country, like the per capita planetariums, I guess, is a lot higher. They seem to put a lot of value and stock and appreciation in a planetarium as an educational venue, but also there are venues that are more around like being a venue where you can go and have a wedding or a reception or something like that. And so they have planetariums in pretty much like every city science museum. There is a planetarium, and I think there's a lot of stock that's put in there. And then on top of that, there's a very popular. So I had a chance to go and visit and do the site visit last year, and so I got to go hang out go to the Japanese Planetarium Association meeting in Osaka, and what I saw was a lot of very popular animes. Like I saw stuff in the stores for these animes everywhere. There's like new movies for like this one character, like all the time, very, very popular. And they were talking about multiple planetarium shows with this one character. And so the pop culture level, I think, like how it comes into the planetarium as a way of getting audiences in is really interesting and fascinating, and I think just shows me that planetariums are very well regarded in Japan because there are many, and there's so many different ways that they engage people. So there's even one in the Haneda airport that is a cafe, apparently. I've been told I could not find it when I was in the Haneda airport. Apparently it's like stuck, but if someone finds it, go to it. But there's one in the airport.
That's great. You know, when I first started getting into domes, my mind just exploded. I'm like, oh my God, scientific visualization of molecules and medical applications, and I just overflowing with, but of course each of those requires specialized software, a different market vertical, different trade shows you need to go to. But it's great to see these immersive environments being used, to serve the local communities. I'm kind of curious about the anime thing. Are these we have the Big Bird planetarium show, but you don't see a lot of popular IP, characters in planetarium shows typically. a lot of producers create their own character and like
Mhm.
that. Oh, I guess we had Larry the Cat, right? From
Oh
way
yes,
back.
Larry the Cat.
Yes, Loch Ness Productions.
Hmm.
But are these fully animated shows with these anime characters, or they pop in and like how are they being used?
I'm not sure. I saw trailers
Hmm.
and I did not fully understand them because I do not speak much Japanese. But what I so please correct me in the chat if I am wrong here, if anyone does know more. But it did seem to be like a full adventure show episode that was in a planetarium. And I think, and I too am curious because I think there's oftentimes where people are like, oh, I would love a Daniel Tiger show or a Bluey show or something like that, with these very popular characters. But how do we get those relationships and do that in a way that is financially viable for many small planetariums? And I think so this is a big question that I too have, like how do you get all of these amazing partnerships going on? um so
Nice, nice. Well, yeah, I applaud IPS for doing this conference in Japan. I think that like with
mhm,
Dome Fest West, we have a lot of attendees from Europe, Eastern Europe, Australia, even, and but not so many from Japan and China, and yet there's a thriving community there. So I think we have a lot to learn from each other, and language can be a barrier. Now,
mhm.
now these conferences are organized primarily organized locally, right? By is it the local affiliate who what's that process for selecting, where the next conference is going to be? And by the way, these conferences are every 2 years, right?
Right. So our conferences, our in-person conferences are every 2 years. We are currently exploring an option of a virtual conference on off years. So to make sure that we have that we are providing more opportunities in IPS for our members outside of conferences. But they are every 2 years, and generally the process is that about 4 years before a conference, different sites will bid for that conference. So right now we're in the bidding process. We're starting the bidding process for 2030. So there's still time to bid if anybody is interested. But you put together a bid, and usually that would involve a planetarium or maybe a group of planetariums in a region, sort of putting together a team and a proposal of this is how we think we would be able to do this conference. And they get feedback from the board. And then 3 years before, there is a larger board presentation. And we also get that information out to membership so that the board reps are able to get feedback. And then there is a vote. And so we then vote on that site for that year. And then once that happens, they start running and they start getting everything planned. The board and the officers are there to support in any way that we can in trying to get that going. But a lot of that organization is handled locally because they're going to know their venues and their spaces a lot more. But we're also there to support. And so I do see actually. Estefania Lesko is on here, who is our host for, she's our host for our 2028 conference in Buenos Aires.
Oh,
So,
excellent.
so if you are interested in bidding and want to know about that process from the bidder's side, you can talk to Estefania. I hope I'm not like flooding your inbox now, but hi. So that's how that process works. And then, yes, we do them every other year on the even years.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, actually, after I joined Astronaut Memorial Planetarium in Cocoa, Florida, we hosted IPS in '94, and I think it was one of the better attended. It had like 500 people there or something. But it was cool to see people coming from all over, the world really, to participate.
Mhm.
And one of the things that's always stood out to me is the diversity of how planetariums are used. You have the traditional optomechanical with the arrow pointer, still some, and that takes a very talented storyteller, obviously, to be able to engage the audience, tour them around, make it a meaningful experience. And of course, the beauty of the night sky, the novelty of that is, definitely a part of that experience. Other theaters are more like cinemas, who run movies. And, like you said, I mean, nothing wrong with that. You get very professional quality presentations. And I suppose not every city can hire a talented storyteller. Is there training does IPS facilitate training, or are there, how do you get trained to be a planetarian?
So that's a good question. And I think everybody's journey is a little bit different. I think we used to, I know that here at Michigan State University, where I am based, I'm at the Abrams Planetarium. I know back in the 70s, we did have a master's program in planetarium science. And so I've met a lot of people who went through that. So we used to have something that was more of a formal training, and I don't think we were the only ones. But those sorts of things did used to exist. But now it seems that like most people sort of come in through the ground up. Like they get a job at a planetarium as a student, or there's one in a department that they're working in, and they kind of train with others. It's like almost kind of sort of an apprenticeship, but not really. And so everyone kind of trains in these different ways. And then of course, like there are more like system specific trainings that are offered by the companies who create those planetarium systems as well. But I think when it comes to more like planetarium theory and practice, that's something that I think is lacking perhaps in our field. For me personally, I did go through a museum studies certificate program. And so I think there's maybe room to explore something like building that capacity up in museum studies programs that already exist, for instance. But this is something that we've been also exploring. I think we've, for a long time, IPS has been exploring things around professional development and how do we support that for planetariums around the world, planetarians. And so one thing that we're kind of also exploring at the moment as sort of an initiative is possibly some sort of certification program or a series of training programs that people could go through so that there is sort of like a IPS approved or some sort of like thing that you can put on your resume to show like I do have this training, to show the amount of work and skill that we all have to our employers and so on. And so, yeah, it's an ongoing process, but I think there's a hunger for it.
Right on. Well, back to IPS 2026 in Japan.
We're going all over.
Yeah, no, it's fun. So Fukuoka, is that how you say? Want to make sure I get this right.
Yeah, it's Fukuoka, and I'm not probably saying it right. I think so, but yeah, it's Fukuoka. Fukuoka is the city.
Got it. Got it. You said you visited the planetarium there. Tell us some about that.
Yeah, so the planetarium, the host is the Fukuoka City Science Museum, and so the conference itself is going to be sort of split between two sets of spaces, I guess. So the first couple days will be at that museum with the planetarium. They have a really nice large dome that is a hybrid system. I did get to sit through a planetarium show while I was there with a bunch of school children. I got to say hi to them. So that was a fun experience. And it's a beautiful dome, and I saw some really great storytelling about what's up in the sky and engagement with those kids, like all those elements that are always so fun to see our fellow planetarians do it, and like how the ways that they do it, that's very similar, and how it's a little bit different. But that was a really great experience. But it is a science museum, so they have a lot of other exhibits there as well, including other ones on space, but also like an aerial view of the city. There's a whole model of Fukuoka city that they have, and they actually put a picture of us from IPS Berlin in there as a way to tell people that it was coming to Fukuoka in 2026. So there's like a tiny little group of us in their exhibit. But that, and they also have this really beautiful rooftop garden that kind of overlooks the city that is right outside the dome. So they can also do stargazing there sometimes. So that'll be 2 of the days we'll be there, and then we'll be at a conference center. It is the, well, I'm going to make sure I have it right. The Fukuoka International Congress Center, and then next door, the Fukuoka Kokusai Center. So that's where more talks and presentations will be, our sponsor hall. That overlooks the bay, which is really beautiful as well. We're right on the ocean. And so that'll be where we can like go visit and walk around a lot more and see each other. Awesome.
I'm not that familiar with Japan. I've been to, obviously, Tokyo and Osaka. But where's Fukuoka in comparison? Is it in the north or the south, or?
It's in the south. So I was trying to see if I have like a little map. So if you think about Japan, sort of you have Tokyo sort of middle north, and it's on that like bigger section of it, and then there's another larger island underneath south of that, and that's where Fukuoka is. It's sort of in the northwest part of that larger island. And so you are farther south, and the city is significantly smaller than Tokyo or Osaka. So it's definitely a city, definitely has a city feel. For any of folks in the US, I might say it's similar to like Grand Rapids in Michigan. Because I know the Michigan cities better. So if anyone knows that. So it's a smaller city. So it's, which is really nice. It doesn't have like, it's not as like busy and crowded as some of the large cities in the world can be. And so it's it's a very pleasant city to be in and explore, and everyone is very friendly there.
Excellent, excellent. Well, as far as the program there of IPS 26, do you guys screen a lot of films? Do you have a festival or awards or anything like that? I mean, what sort of content are you working with there or exhibiting?
There is a Fulldome Film Festival that happens prior to the conference starting. So that is on the 18th and 19th. And so there will be 43 films, I think is what I counted, that will be shown at that film festival. Wow. Some of those are shorts and some of those are full-length planetarium shows. They're from 21 different countries, and from what I can tell, the topics are based off of the titles. It'll be run the gamut of astronomy and cultural astronomy and science, and as well as other content areas as well. And so I will be attending. It'll be the first time that I'm going to a Fulldome Film Festival, actually, and so I'm excited to see that and go check out all of these films.
That's great. That's a lot of the work we've been doing here at Dome Fest West is trying to honor, exceptional work in the space, right? Mm-hmm. And to help elevate the quality of the programming and recognize, excellent programming. So that's good to hear that there's going to be a festival there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
and prizes are awarded at that festival, I should mention. So.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So I'm kind of curious how many people here are actually going to be at the conference. I know Kate McCallum. Maybe if you're going to, Susan Button. Oh, hi, Susan. Excellent. You could raise your hand or whatever if you are going. I imagine a lot of the people on here are probably not going. Which is why they're on this call. Oh, Mark Webb. Awesome. Hey, Mark. But You guys, if you have any questions about the conference, please pop them into the Q&A box. Anything else? Oh, okay. Catherine Hunt, Carrie, and I will be there. And Susan Peach and Tam Aaron. Oh my God. I'm jealous now. I'm not going to make it, but oh, Nick Lake. Hey, Nick. So I think registration's closed now, right? There's no way to petition them at the last minute.
Yeah, I know late registration closed on May 29th.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to obviously a lot to arrange meals or whatever it is,
Yeah.
lodging and everything. Yes, Susan Peach says there's always a way. Great. Well, anything else you want to say about the conference? I mean, there's going to be paper presentations too, right? Do you have a favorite? I mean, any must-see presentations you want to talk about?
I don't think I can pick a favorite. I don't. But I think
you're presenting a paper, right?
yes, I am. Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I am presenting a paper, and it will be in a section that is around similar topics, but it's some research, some case studies that I've done on a project that was joining planetariums and local community partners to co-create programs around and storytelling around hyperlocal climate change. So it's how do you engage your local communities in climate change and through partnerships with planetariums and their local partners. So it's studying how those partnerships worked and how they formed and identifying characteristics that made them successful. And so I'll be presenting sort of the initial results of those case studies. And other people from that project are going to be talking about their projects and their experience as well. We are seeing other research that's being done around how do we tell stories and how does the style of storytelling affect that. That's not my research, that's others. So I think we're going to see, so.
Great. Well, we have some awesome comments here too in the chat. Tammy Barrett said Michael Doubt and herself will be presenting an open space session. And for those who haven't experienced that, it's something that I was first exposed to at the Giant Screen Cinema Association a couple of years back. And then Tammy helped us to do that also at Dome Fest West. And it really went over well. And the cool thing about it is everybody is asked if they have a topic they want to discuss with the group. We all put our topics in, and then Tammy will organize them on a board into groups and assign each group to a table. And you jump into that table with a group of people, many of whom you may never have met, and you get to, brainstorm. I'm wondering, though, in Japan, I mean, maybe not everyone attending speaks English. I mean, is the conference going to be largely held in English? Are there opportunities for, Japanese speakers to participate as well?
Yeah, so the conference itself is largely in English, as that's the sort of official language of IPS. But I do know that there will be a very large that the Japanese Planetarium Association is also having some aspects of their meeting as part of all of this. And so I do think there'll be opportunities for people who are more comfortable in Japanese to be presenting and networking as well. But a bulk of the conference is in English.
Excellent. And Susan Button asked or said that there'd be a lot of portable planetarium presentations. So I assume, are those separate pop-up domes that will be presenting?
Yeah, there are several portable planetariums that will be set up in that sort of main sponsor hall area. They've got several of them. They're going to be doing a lot of presentations for shows in them with people. And then there'll also be other sessions that are going to be exploring portable planetariums as well.
Yeah, I love that. Talk about a dome festival. I can't remember which IPS it was, but I recall there being lots of domes set up in an exhibit area. And it's just such a cool thing, to see
Yeah.
that.
I remember my first IPS was in it was Warsaw in Poland, and I remember like there were domes like there's big domes set up outside and small domes downstairs, and like there are domes upon domes, and it was like so exciting.
Yeah, that's a dome fest,
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll have to work Dome Fest West up to that. Let's see. Catherine Hunt said she's most excited about the planetarium in Buddhist temple session.
Hmm.
Wow, that sounds interesting. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, so there's several conference tours. There's pre-conference tours, there's some mid-conference tours, and there's post-conference tours that are going to a bunch of different locations. So there are planetariums in temples. There's one in a castle. There's also a meteorite shrine. There's like a meteorite at a shrine that people can go to for one of the tours. One of them is also essentially getting on the Shinkansen, which is the bullet train, and then going to 5 different planetariums all the way up to Tokyo over the course of several days after the conference to get a sense of like, again, so many different planetariums that are out there in different locations. Like, again, just how much planetariums are integrated into everything. And so um, there there are a lot of opportunities to be able to not only see the planetarium that is hosting, but also making sure that there's opportunities to visit all of these other ones as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I've often, not so much publicly, but I refer to planetariums as digital temples of transformation. It was, oh gosh, one of the guys has a film about how planetariums are a place you can go, Peter Pop, I believe,
Hmm.
as a source of truth. You can always rely on the planetarium as a source of truth. And I really like that. Of course, everything is basically science-based, unless it's an entertainment show, but even there, it's using the science of, I always thought of art as the science of evoking unique brain states, in people, entertainment. Hey, Dario asks, will any part of the conference be streamed online? A lot of us aren't going to make it, right?
Hmm. So I don't think anything is going to be streamed, unfortunately. There's not really the setup for that. So I don't think we'll be seeing anything streamed.
Probably be in the middle of the night for us anyway. But
Yeah,
are any of the sessions recorded? But there's a proceedings, right? That's published?
yes, there is a proceedings that is published, and that will come out afterwards. And so that is an opportunity to go check out everything as well.
Right. And Susan also mentioned LIPS. Tell us
Mhm.
about LIPS.
So LIPS is the Live Interactive Planetarium Symposium, which I know is its own conference or symposium, bringing everyone together. But they also often do these mini versions of them at other conferences. And so there's often a what we call a GLIPSA at the Great Lakes Planetarium Association's conference the day before the day the conference starts. That's an all-day mini LIPS. And so there is a mini LIPS session as well that will be there. And there's also a variety of other workshops, anywhere from, again, storytelling and building storytelling, building partnerships, as well as the technology pieces. So I saw open space is on there. And so, and other ways of building content in your particular system as well.
Mm-hmm. Ian McLennan, hi Ian, reminded us that the first dome village that I referred to was in Baton Rouge in 2012. And that was quite cool to have all those pop-up domes in a room. Cool. And, I've actually, through my company, Vortex Immersion, have done a lot of pop-up domes, up to 200 feet in diameter with 24 video projectors, crazy stuff. So but they're expensive. It's usually expensive to set up. The smaller inflatable indoor ones it's still a lot of work, to bring those and get people to show up. So obviously, IPS is attracting not just planetarians, but also vendors, software developers, programmers. What does a typical audience look like at IPS conference?
I think we see a lot. We see a lot of educators that are coming through, astronomy educators and people who are working in various domes, portable, large, small, university, school, museum, and so on. But we also see the companies that produce all of the different equipment come in as sponsors. I don't have the full sponsor list yet on who's going to be there this year, but just thinking of previous conferences. So we have show producers, so people who are producing those full dome shows that you can license. We have the software developers and the projector companies that are who produce all of the equipment that we use. There are people who have interest. I remember a really cool interactive laser pointer company that was really fascinating last year. I do know for sure someone that was in Berlin is coming back is Alumbra and Filibrium, who they do 3D models of astronomical data and objects, both digital ones, and a three-dimensional nebula model that you can walk around, and that they're pretty cool. You can walk around and it looks like it's glowing around you. So as well as folks who are doing more interactive game type things on a dome. And so how can you find ways to use your dome to engage people on a game on their phone? So Planetarium, I know is one that I can think of. So we are seeing a lot of people who are finding different ways of using domes and using their technologies, as well as sort of these adjacent needs that we have. There's portable planetarium companies, those who work on domes and clean domes. I'm probably forgetting some, and my apologies if I am. They all do such great and amazing work, and I think it's always great to see there. So my apologies if I'm forgetting anyone. I have a bad memory.
No worries at all. Well, you mentioned the walkthrough nebula. These walkthrough immersive experiences are really popular these days. You have Meow Wolf, but like Meow Wolf, it's a lot of eye candy and cool little gizmos and gadgets, but there's not an educational component per se. And I'm wondering, do you see any movement for planetariums to be offering more experiential? Of course, the dome itself is an immersive experience, but outside of the dome, are you seeing a trend towards that at all?
I guess I'm trying, exhibits outside, educational experiences outside the dome.
Right, because when you walk into a lobby, that's when the experience begins. Well, experience begins when you buy your ticket online, right? So I've done a lot of work in themed entertainment and theme park design, family entertainment centers, this sort of thing. And what you usually do is storyboard the entire visitor experience from start to end. Like you see a billboard going down the highway, and I'm just wondering, when you enter the lobby and then as you're moving into the planetarium, are you seeing more focus on pre-shows or anything like that, or exhibit? This nebula thing sounded like it was maybe along those lines.
Yeah, so that it's more of an exhibit piece that you would have outside, and then you can walk around it to sort of see the nebula from different angles. I think also similarly, Science on a Sphere type folks have been at the conferences before, but I think there is an interest in that. Not all planetariums have a good space for it. So for those who have the space to do it, I think there are often presentations and talk around how do we engage people, what sort of exhibits can we get? What sort of hands-on and tactile things can we get? What are maybe touchscreen softwares that we can get to try to engage people before they come in? And I think that's also something that is sort of in the research, or trying to kind of bubble up in the research, which is like, how do we continue the engagement beyond the dome? Like, what are the ways that we do that to try to make sure that this experience doesn't, and that the dome is one step in a journey of learning and caring about what you're learning about. So I think that is definitely something that we see interest in and development in.
Oh, that's great. And, for anybody interested, there are planetarium regionals throughout the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's SEPA, the Southeast Planetarium Association, GLIPA, Great Lakes Planetarium Association. What are some of the others? Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, there's RUMPA, which is Rocky Mountain. There's the Great Plains Planetarium Association. There's the Pacific Planetarium Association, which does a really great set of webinars that you should check out if you do want like ongoing professional development. There's the Southwest Association of Planetariums. And then MAPS, the Mid-Atlantic Planetarium. There's 7 of them. So I think we got all of them. There's MAPS, SEPA, SWAP, GLIPA, GPPA, RUMPA, PPA. Oh, no, I feel like I forgot. Anyway, there's a lot of them.
Those are the ones in the U.S., and obviously there's chapters or affiliates, you call them,
yes,
globally, right?
Yes, there's various affiliates. There's the German-speaking planetariums, the French-speaking. There's a new one forming in Latin America right now, and so there's the African Planetarium Association and so on. Like there's many JPA. So.
Wow. So how do you manage the language barriers? Are we mostly everyone's coming in on English-speaking platform?
Yeah, so we do officially operate in English, but the language barrier is something that is a concern, and we recognize as well. And so that's another initiative that we have some folks working on, is trying to find ways of getting around that. And there are tools that are coming out that are making it a lot easier. So one thing that we were able to add on to our Zoom account is a auto translator. If people were to use the IPS Zoom, you can go in there and change your speaking language and your caption language, and then it just automatically translates for everybody. And it handles many languages all at once. This is also something that we used similarly with an initiative and an event around 100 hours of astronomy with the IAU as a partnership. And so we got to see it in action before we were able to add that on. So I think that there are these tools that are coming out. And so figuring out how to use them well and appropriately is still in the works. But I think this is something that we need to consider. If we are a truly international organization, we need to be able to accommodate and many languages in part of how we operate.
That's great. The tech is amazing. I'm waiting for them to put it into a little babblefish you stick in your ear.
Yeah, we got to get to that point.
Mike Murray gave a couple links in the chat you guys should check out. One is Planetarium Pointers from, what was that from? From GLIPA, and then also Planetarium Zoom seminars. So, and also Dome Fest West, we have a monthly Fulldome Forum, which this is part of. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Any other questions? Anybody have anything else they want to chat about with Dr. Shannon?
And while we're waiting on that, I'll do a shout out as well to the IPS Weeks In programs, which is a program to get planetarians to basically do an exchange to different places. So we have one that people can come to the US, one where people go to Germany and Italy. And so that's something that Susan Button, who's on here, can definitely talk a lot about. But that is also another great opportunity. So I think when it comes to that training and professional development, there's not really like some sort of like central official like at a university level kind of program necessarily, but what really makes this field so special, I think, is that we're all friends. Like like, and it sounds kind of cliche, but I think we truly are. We all want to see each other succeed more than any other field that I've ever seen, and so we create those opportunities so that we can learn from each other. And I think I saw something also, like, what am I most excited about for going is I get to go see all my friends and make new friends who teach me so much along the way, and I think that's always the best, and I'm so excited to just see what my new friends in Fukuoka have waiting for us and what they're going to share with us.
I love that, and that's one thing that stood out to me in the planetarium community, that everybody's in this because they want to do good in the world. They want to have a positive impact, and you don't see that. Like, I live in Los Angeles. Hollywood is a little different. The vibe, the culture in the entertainment industry. I think planetarians are exceptional people, and I always love the vibe and that motivation of wanting to help, wanting to do good, wanting to serve. That really stands out in this space. So. Well, we do. Ryan, do you want to come on? You're around. We could do a little group chat if you like. Anybody else? We could bring you on screen, Susan Button, or if anybody wants to sort of just jump in for a few minutes and chat, we can promote you on screen. But Ryan, any additional questions or insights?
Just, hey, if you were gonna give us a teaser on one thing, Shannon, and this is where we'll maybe have you be a cheerleader of sorts. What is, like, the one thing that you personally are looking forward to the most in Japanese or Japan? Is it the sushi? Is it the anime films? Like, what's it gonna be? Honestly, your thoughts.
The food is good. Like, no, so the Fukuoka team knows that the food in Fukuoka, like, Fukuoka is known for the food even in Japan, like, very good. But one of their specialties is the Hakata style ramen. So this is the Hakata region of Japan, and so the ramen there is very good. All the food is good, but that's a particularly I think good one to go and try. But, like, even the 7-Elevens, you walk in there and it's like got amazing food. So I'm personally excited for people to do that. But I think one of the things with this particular conference as well that I like is that for some of the days, the things are set up, the meals are set up to be more on your own so that you can go and explore the region and the restaurants and the food and the city, essentially, so that there are opportunities to actually to see what it's like. And so I think, and there's a ton of things very close by in order to do that. So I think I'm just really excited for people to go there and get to see this space and see all the hard work that our hosts have been doing, because they've been doing a tremendous amount of work, and it's and so I'm just so happy that they get to come and see what they've been doing.
Well, Mark Webb just joined us. Hey, Mark.
Hi, Ed. How are you? Hi. Real quick, I know you're trying to get people over to the other webinar, but next week, June 10th, IPS will be hosting another webinar that is just about tips and tricks for travelers to Japan. It's to answer your travel questions. So that'll be hosted by me and Eric Edelman. It starts June 10th, 9 o'clock Pacific, which would be noon on the East Coast. So hope that you can join us there.
I think 1 a.m. in Japan. I will be in Japan by then, so.
But you won't need the tourist advice. You'll already be there.
That's true. But yeah, and Mark and Eric, I know, have been putting a lot of work and getting a sort of agenda going for that. And Eric also speaks Japanese, and so if you wanted to learn some phrases, we also did do one that we recorded and posted on our YouTube with our hosts, and they did do a walkthrough of the most important Japanese phrases that you should know. So you can also go check that out.
Great.
Nice.
And I see Susan Button. Did you want to say a few words real quick? Hey, there she is. Whoops.
Sorry. I just wanted to remind people that the week's program for Italy, the deadline is July 31st, and I encourage people to apply to go to Italy. It's actually 10 days that you go to many, many sites in Italy and work with the planetarians and the public and students.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, guys. Hey, so I think we're going to wrap it up here. Ryan, we have a lounge afterwards, right? Kelly Francis is gonna so anybody wants to jump in, it's going to be just like this. We're all gonna come on camera if you like, and just banter a bit. It's open, it's not recorded, so you can be candid if you like. Kelly, can you post that link again?
Yes, so we'll go ahead and get this link here. It's in the chat. Save it, because this is the only place that you'll get the link to join the Hangout Lounge. Is the open floor lounge with Dr. Schmoll, with Ed Lantz, with Mark, with Susan. So jumping over there, Kelly Francis will be there to greet you and kick things off. But just one big round of digital applause, if you don't mind, for our amazing guest today, Dr. Shannon Schmoll, and our host, Ed Lantz. Thank you both. We will be back in 1 month to talk about the important topic of content distribution. What are venues looking for right now, and how can content creators take advantage of that? So throw into the open source lounge. Jump in there right now. That room will open up. And thank you again, Dr. Schmoll. We will see you over there. Thank you, Ed.
Yep, you bet. And grab that link while you can.
All right. See you all there.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.